Hey gang, it's Maria here from goalietrainingpro.com. Just getting Instagram going too. So Maria here from goalietrainingpro.com. I'm an exercise physiologist that specializes in off-ice training for hockey goalies, which basically means I help you do the right training off the ice so you can win more games with fewer injuries on the ice. And I sent out in my email, I sent out a couple exercises that we did at a prospect camp I was at last week, and talking about sort of making a connection of how these specific off-ice drills or exercises translate onto the ice and help you be a better goalie. And there was one exercise, it actually surprised me, that it gave every single goalie in that group. But it was a prospects camp, there were good goalies there. Every single one of them struggled with this specific exercise, so I'm going to show it to you. And let me move. So, and this is exactly how we did it. It was from the knee, so a nice side plank from the knee, so coming up, and then keeping this toe pointed down, the hip in a little bit of an extended position, and then just doing an abduction. So just a lift to there and down, up and down. So they had real trouble, not rolling their chest forward, which I think usually, you might notice even when you side plank, you want to do that. I think it's a way to take the load off your obliques and sort of bring in your rectus abdominis, your six-pack muscles, because they're probably a little bit stronger, especially if you're still doing things like crunches. I don't even remember the last time we did a crunch with an athlete here at Revolution. I would say it's been at least 8 years, unless it's functional for their sport in some way. Pole vaulters, we do some variations, but hockey players, football players, no, we don't ever crunch. So anyway, that was one thing, keeping the shoulders stacked, keeping the hip up, so a lot of them, that hip was dropping down. That's lateral hip stability. You know when you're down in your butterfly and then you go to push and sometimes you kind of lose your balance or almost feels like that pad sticks a little bit? It's because you're lacking that hip stability to stabilize against this push. So that's how that's important. And then this little abduction here, just keeping that position. A lot of the guys wanted to bring this foot forward, which changes the muscle that you're using. It sort of puts a little more load on other muscles, including the tensor fasciae lata, which really, its primary job isn't to be lifting your leg. Or they would turn the toe up as they went and lift that way, which is then putting the tension on their hip flexor. So they're trying to use their hip flexor to push laterally, which again, when we're standing or from a butterfly position, we need to be using those lateral hip muscles to push laterally or to abduct at the hip. So can you see how this combination of core stabilization and hip stabilization, along with activation of those lateral hip muscles, really includes three very transferable characteristics that we are going to need on the ice, or elements that we're going to need on the ice. So it's a great way that we can train them here. We can also see just what's our body awareness. Like, it's not even so much that these guys couldn't do it, it's that they just didn't know how to control their body in space to make it happen, and there were just a lot of moving parts for them. Even though it looks really, really simple, it's actually not. So if you want to try it, it's just bending that bottom knee, coming up into a nice side plank position. This foot, you're going to turn your toe down a little bit. I know on Instagram you can't see my foot, but it's going to be just a little bit. So if this is my foot, it's just like that much pointed down at the floor. I'm going to extend my hip a little bit so that my toe is kind of even just with sort of my rear end. It's not way, way back behind me. It's just a little bit extended, and then keeping that knee straight, coming up and down. And yeah, you feel it a little bit here on your forearm. It's okay. It's not fatal. So that's a great way to integrate core stabilization, hip stabilization, and get a little bit of that nice abduction work in your hip. If you want more goalie specific exercises, or actually even a program that's just totally done for you, you just have to click in it and see, oh, what's the workout for today? That's going to be the Shutout Academy at shutoutacademy.com. You can check it out for $1 and just see if it's right for you. If it is, braces. If not, that's okay too. Hey, it's Maria from goalietrainingpro.com. I will catch you later.
See ya.